Pathways to Wholeness podcast. I'm Michael Warmoth, and I thank you for joining us for this next episode of meditative teaching. Please note that these meditations were recorded in a tropical environment with the windows and doors open, so you will hear birds and other sounds in the background. Try not to let them distract you from the words. Okay, let's just settle in, relax, maybe take a few breaths and just listen to the music before the teaching starts. It is very important that we become conscious of the role that fear plays in our lives. We may believe that we don't have much fear, or we may not be conscious of much fear. But if there is any suffering or struggle, any difficulties or problems, they all have fear as their primary source. Because fear is what leads us to control, which leads to suffering and struggle. What are we afraid of? We may see many instances of fear in our lives if we pay attention. We have a fear of heights, or a fear of water, or a fear of crime, fear of bad health. We really pay attention, we may start to see that we make many decisions during the day based on fear, even though we don't experience that fear. We don't know it is fear. still make many decisions based on fear. We limit ourselves, we restrict ourselves, we contract in fear. But the daily fears that lead to our daily decision making are not the source of fear that is our real underlying difficulty. It is our fear of ourselves, of our own innate nature. Fear of the spirit within us. We may not think that we fear that. We may think we long for it, we want it. But we don't truly know what that actually means. To be a freely expressed, authentic self means being comfortable with a lot of things that we probably are completely uncomfortable with. For instance, what people think about, or what our job chances are. I think we have to control all that to survive. The more we become conscious of how we diminish ourselves and restrict and limit and control ourselves, the more we can let go of those patterns of holding and controlling. But we must be willing to see the truth, to see what we are doing, to see what we deny, to see what we fear. For the experience, letting go, surrendering, just being at peace with ourselves and what is. It's not really a difficult process. And so if we find it difficult, we can be sure fear is the basis of that. To stop doing, to stop controlling should be the easiest thing we could do. To stop expending all that effort. But if what we find is resistance and distraction, we can be sure there is fear. So let us try to bring that fear into conscious awareness. See if it is really something we want to control our lives with. experience resistance and distraction, ask yourself, what am I afraid of? Why am I afraid to let go? What am I anticipating that I am resisting so much? Somewhere within us is the answer to that question. If we are willing to become still enough and quiet enough to listen. Why would I choose suffering and struggle over peace? What is there within me that I fear so greatly? We know that it is something within us that we fear because that's where peace is, and that's where we don't want to go. That is what we are resisting. That is what we are distracting ourselves from. If we were to acknowledge and affirm that there cannot be anything within us that is bad or dangerous or a threat to our survival. If we were to remind ourselves that what is within us is the recognition of our true nature, our oneness with the world and the infinite. But within us is the capability of experiencing profound peace, connection, and harmony. Must ask ourselves, why do we resist them? Why would we be afraid of them? It is conditioning, to be sure. We've been taught that our authentic self, our freely self-expressed nature, is not welcome. To begin with our journey of exploring our fear, we can say that the first thing we are afraid of is our authentic emotions. We are afraid of the grief and the rage and the anger, the sorrow, the loss. I think they will take us over, that we will become unable to move or to live. We'll be lost in the world of uncontrollable emotions. There is no question that strong emotions are uncomfortable when we are not used to them. But they are not dangerous. They are not a threat to our sanity. And they do not go on forever. But if we cannot open ourselves to the energetic, emotional movements within us, we cannot open to the truth They spring from the same source, our authentic self. When we meet someone who is comfortable with themselves, who is authentic, we feel safe with them. Even if they don't always say things we like, they are trustworthy because they are authentic. Their heart is open. And if we cannot be comfortable with our own authentic selves, we are constantly caught in a cycle of controlling, suffering, and struggle, trying to fill our desires, trivial things, and all that we desire is to be at peace with ourselves, to know the truth of ourselves. We are afraid of the power of ourselves. So we must question our fear constantly. We must not let it be guidance for our lives. Fear is not the truth. It is not a suitable guide. Being afraid of something does not mean you should not do it. In most cases, you probably should. But we have come to believe that fear is our most reliable guide. It is most unreliable. We cannot become resilient, free. We respond to fear. We think we may be saving our lives. But is it a life worth living? So now we have a choice right now. We are given the opportunity in this moment to surrender, let go. We can make a choice to be guided by fear or not. So many fears expressed in our daily lives are about fear of coming into ourselves, fear of heights, fear of water, fear of bad health. All are metaphors. The fear, letting go of control, losing control, being out of control. And yet, that is not what awaits us. We allow ourselves to fall into ourselves in some way. We are holding ourselves up. We must let go and sink into reality. Let us make that choice, knowing that fear will arise and will pass. We can be certain peace, that truth, that certainty live within us. There is a light, love, presence, and power of an infinite, timeless consciousness. It's alive within us right now. And that can be our guide. Thank you for listening to this episode of our podcast. If you'd like more information on these meditations and teachings, visit pathwaystosurrender.com. You might be interested in our other podcast, Pathways to Surrender. These are guided meditations designed to support you in letting go of whatever tensions or false ideas you might be holding about how things really are, and reaching a state of peace and surrender. That's Pathways to Surrender. Look for the next episode soon. We're uploading them every couple of days. See you next time.